morning. Hello. My name is Kristen. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have not been here in a really long time and a lot has changed. We bought a new house, and my daughter is hardly a baby anymore, which is crazy. She's running around. But I've also done a lot of knitting in the last 2 months or so, so I thought I would make a video this morning. My daughter was up pretty much all night and they're still sleeping now, my husband and her, but that gave me a chance to sit down, look at everything I've made, and hopefully share some fun, inspiring, exciting makes with you. I also have a little show and tell, but I'll save that for the end for people who might not be interested. I have a few books, some tea, and most importantly, the last little harvest from my garden. And I don't have a huge garden, but I had some fun things this year, and I have some little squash to show you that are really cute. So yeah, I have some little fall decor things, just a fun show and tell, but I'll wait in case you're not interested in that, and I'll talk about my knitting first. The first project is actually what I'm wearing. I am wearing the sweater number 11 Light by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I'm really happy with how it came out, so I'll tell you a few things. One, this is all the yarn I have left, which for me is really good, because when I buy sweater quantities of yarn, I usually buy too much because I'm worried about running out, because honestly, if I ran out of yarn, which hasn't happened yet, I probably wouldn't buy more of that yarn, and I would end up having to like pull something from stash that doesn't really work perfectly and making it work. I don't picture myself ever going and like finding the perfect skein of yarn, unless maybe if I went to my like one local yarn shop and they had it, I guess I'd buy it. But if it was anything more difficult than that, I think I would try to make it work, and I didn't want to do that with this sweater or really any of my sweaters for myself because they take me so much time. I'm not a fast knitter, and I think I cast this on last winter. And then we moved and there was so much going on, and then it got warm out and I wasn't really into knitting it anymore. But I just picked it back up, and I had one sleeve left to do, so it's been sitting missing not even a full sleeve. I'd already picked up the stitches. So like missing, and the sleeves are pretty low. You pick up the stitches all the way down here, and I didn't even knit them the full length, so like it was missing this for 6 months. But I got it done, and I only have a little bit of yarn left. I had bought this yarn actually on my honeymoon, so a long time ago. And the reason that it sat in stash for so long is because I bought it to make I think it's called My Favorite Things wrap. I think it was really popular online, and this yarn looked really similar to her sample photo. It's like a wrap that ties around and then it opens all the way, and I thought it'd be great for breastfeeding, which it probably would be, but I felt like I probably wouldn't make it perfectly because I'm a pretty imperfect knitter, especially when it comes to new techniques. Like, I just like to jump into things. I don't usually knit swatches, and I don't usually practice new techniques, and I haven't done double knitting ever. And I just felt like if I made that sweater, it wouldn't come out perfectly, and I really like this yarn and I wanted something special with it. So I cast on a sweater that I knew would come out pretty good, and honestly, I loved this pattern. I really like how it came out. I like how it fits. I didn't swatch and I didn't use the recommended yarn, and I think it looks really good, so that's always a huge win in my book. The yarn is Lana de Grossa, and it's an alpaca blend. It's mostly alpaca, and I bought it in Venice at, I think it's called Lellabella. There's one yarn shop in Venice, and they were great when I went, so I was really excited to buy this. And I also bought the yarn that was Neve's first ever sweater from there, so that was special. I haven't sewn in all the ends. Here's one, but I'm really happy with the fit. It ends right where my pants start, and the sleeves are a little bit short, not where I feel like it looks weird, but where like when I'm washing Neve's hands with her or cooking with her or doing anything with the baby, they won't get all like wet or yucky around my hands, because I found that like I used to like a long sleeve, and now with the baby it doesn't always feel like it's very practical. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. My one concern, and then I'll move on, but my one concern is kind of dramatic, but my one thing that I'm not 100% sure on is the color of the yarn. And I like the yarn, it's super soft, and I really like it, and it was a pleasure to knit with. It's really thin, and I held it single, but I don't feel like, obviously it's not sheer, and I used fairly thick needles, so I really liked the yarn. It really filled in nicely. There it is. My one concern with it is that I knit this sweater. I found this pattern because I borrowed a sweater from my sister last year that had like a high turtleneck like this, and I didn't think I'd like it, and I actually loved it. I've never had a sweater since I was a kid that had a neck like this, and so I wanted to make one. But hers was in like a chocolatey warm brown, and I think that color really suited me, and I really think that that impacted how much I liked it. And I do really like this sweater, but in the winter when I have lost all of my color from the summer, because it's still been pretty warm here and I still feel like I have a tan, I don't get very tan, but a tan for me. And I think when I lose all of that color, I don't know if I'm gonna love this color, which I'm worried about, because this is a pretty warm sweater to be wearing anywhere before now, really. Like, it's October and later for sure. So, I don't know. We'll see. I like it how it looks on me now, so I'm being hopeful that I'll continue to like how it looks on me. I'm pretty exhausted right now because my daughter was up, but it's nice that I'll be able to drink my tea, hopefully while it's warm. So I'm going to drink it during this video, because usually with my daughter I have to, well, we don't have a microwave or anything, so I usually just have to pour out my tea because it gets cold and then it's yucky. But this is my sweater number 11 light, and this is the second time I'm wearing it. I wore it at home one day, and I might wear it. I'm hosting a fall party next weekend, and so I might wear it to that. I had another sweater in mind, but it'd be kind of fun to wear a handmade sweater. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you really like it, I'll wear it. If you're like, yeah, the color doesn't suit you, then I'll save it for something where we maybe aren't taking pictures and I just want to be cozy, because it is a really comfortable sweater. My next finished item, and definitely my most exciting one and one that I'm really proud of, is this little sweater that I made my daughter. And I am so happy with how this came out. I used the ruffle dress pattern for the structure of it. Obviously it doesn't have a ruffle. The ruffle dress pattern from Knitting for Olive, right where this pearl ridge is, you would reattach and you would add a ruffle, and I used this pattern for my daughter's Christmas dress last year. I made a green one, and it fit her really well. So I figured I would use the same one and then just not do the ruffle. And also in the back, the other one has a button, but I did an I-cord because I just think that it'll fit her for longer, versus the button, you can't change how big it is, whereas this, you could tie it really tight. Right now I have it like this, but if I ever need it a little bit looser, I can do that. And I used the color work from the, I think it's called the Flutterby, Butterfly Flutterby pattern from Stone Knits. It's a sock pattern, and I have her book, and I really like her book, and I've made these socks, and I find this to be a really easy color work to remember while you're doing it, and I really like that. And I was going to repeat it so many times that I wanted something that was pretty simple, and I felt like, because I had already done it, as I said, once I do something once, I feel like I'm pretty good at it, so I like to be able to use it again when I'm a bit more confident, and then I feel like it comes out really well. Whereas the first time I do a color work, I feel like sometimes there's like a mistake or two, but because I'd already done this, I felt really confident. The bottom definitely curls up. I didn't do the bottom that they use in the pattern. I just did a rib and then a regular bind off, I think. But I love how it came out. And I think it's gonna fit her for a long time. Right now it's a little bit long on her, and the sleeves are a little bit long, but they don't get in her way. And I just think it's so cute, and it's been great for fall. I've used it a ton, and I think it'll be great in the spring, and even for summer nights, which was my original intention, and she did get to use it in like 1 or 2 summer nights before fall kind of came in. But I'm really happy with it, and I think she might wear this in our Christmas card photo this year. I know it's not very Christmassy, but last year she wore it in our Christmas card photo. Not this, but a hand knit, and that was really special. I love when she wears hand knits, and so I don't know, we'll see. Maybe she'll wear this in the Christmas card photo. I know it's not Christmassy, but that would be fun for me, and she doesn't care. So some other things. Oh, okay, so I think one more finished object, and then I'll show you a finished object that I did not make, but that I was gifted. My last finished object, if my husband is watching, you have to stop watching for a few minutes, just fast forward, because this is part of your Christmas gift. I made Michael, you're gone, a pair of mittens. I like to take knitting books out of the library. I think it's a lot of fun to knit from a book, and I have knitting books, but it's always exciting when things feel new. I don't know, maybe Maybe that's just me, but the library books feel like I bought a new book for free. So I took this out of the library, and it's all mittens. And it talks a lot about like the history of mittens from Newfoundland and just like a lot of fun little facts. I'll tell you one about these mittens. So these are the ones I made. Again, I have not woven in the ends because I have so many things that I'm excited to cast on with Christmas and fall and all of that on my mind. I know it's not at all Christmas, but I feel like if you're a maker, you have to start pretty early. And they came out so good. So here's one, here's the other. And my fun fact is that men's mittens had the pointer finger separate, whereas women's had all these fingers together because the men had to pull the trigger when they were hunting for food. And I don't know, I thought that was fun. So I'll put one on. Let me take my ring off because I don't want it to get caught. I'll show you how they look. I am really happy with them. Oh, it's my right hand anyway. I'm really happy with them. They fit me really nicely, and his hands are obviously bigger than mine. Not that that's obvious, but his hands are a little bigger than mine, but I think that they'll fit perfectly for him as well. And this is what they look like. Put on the other one. My daughter thinks they're hilarious. She's 15 months, and I tried them on for her, and she thinks they're so silly, and the yarn is so soft. She likes when I like struck her face with them. This is the Malabrigo Rios, which I bought on vacation this summer from a little yarn shop in the Hamptons. I don't remember the name of it, but I think there's only one yarn shop in the Hamptons, and Christine was the owner, and she was so sweet. And this is the first time I've used Malabrigo Rios, and it's super wash, which I sometimes try not to use because in the plastics, and if you're gonna hand make things, it's nice to avoid the plastics. But I'm really happy with how these came out, and I really like this yarn. It's a pleasure to knit with. It's actually maybe one of my favorite yarns to knit with. I usually prefer a thinner yarn, and these are pretty thick, and with the color work, it's really thick, and it's just so squishy and comfy. And my husband walks to work quite a bit, so I thought that these would be really nice for him to wear in the morning when it's chilly. I actually wish I can give them to him now, but I'm gonna wait. I always give him his gifts early because I have no patience, but I'm gonna wait on these because I'm really happy with them. What do you think? I'm pretty proud of them. They're my first mittens, so I feel like they're my third mittens. They're not my first mittens, but they're my first colorwork mittens, and I think they came out great. And I definitely recommend this book. So there you go. Very happy with those. I've been using this as my project bag. My sister bought it for me. She saw it once and she said it made her think of me, so she bought it. And that was many years ago. I think it was before I was married, so many years ago. And it's my little project bag. I think it's cute. And then let's see, the last finished object. The last finished object that I have is one that I did not make, but my family friend who taught me how to knit as a kid, my mom's friend, made this for Neve. It's going to be very big on her for now, but how beautiful is that? I love when she makes things for Neve because they're always patterns that I feel like I haven't seen, maybe because she's not on social media, because she's a little bit older than my mom, and so I don't think she's seeing the same trends that I see, which is really nice because we get things that I think look really special, like this sweater. I love how the buttons match, and I love that these stitches look like little hearts at the bottom. I just think that's so sweet, and yeah, I'm really excited about this. She is from Switzerland, and so she gets all of her yarn when she goes over there, and then sometimes she brings me some, which is fun. So I don't know what yarn this is, and it's different than anything I've seen, and it's really nice. She knits mostly in wool, but it kind of feels like it has something else in it. I don't know what though, but I think it's really beautiful, and I can't wait. I do think that my daughter could wear it. It's gonna be pretty big. I don't know if she could wear it this winter. I was gonna say, often I knit things with the intention of them starting as a dress and becoming a sweater, like the little butterfly one, and like her Christmas dresses from last year. But I don't know if she could wear that one as a dress now. That might be a little much. We'll see. If anyone is interested in a baby knit commentary kind of video, like what I would recommend if you're knitting for a baby, what I wouldn't recommend, let me know, because I would love to make that video, because baby knitting is really my favorite thing to talk about. All right, works in progress. In my pattern bag, now that my mittens are done, is a sweater that I'm making myself, and I've actually only ever knit myself 2 garments, I think. I made this sweater, and then I made a Cumulus blouse, which I really like, but again, like this one, I'm not sold on my yarn choice for that one because of the color and because of other things. But I wore it for Easter this year and I did enjoy wearing it, so. I have cast on a 3rd garment for myself that I am really excited about, and I did that because I loved the Malabrigo Rio so much with the mittens, and I felt pretty confident that this yarn choice was a good one, and I was really excited about that. So I bought some and I cast on a sweater, and I don't know when it'll be done because with Christmas and fall knitting coming up, I think this might have to take a back seat, but also it's the only thing I've been knitting on because I'm so excited about it. So I don't know, maybe it'll be done. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a Christmas sweater. I do have some time. We'll see. Here it is. I am making the porcelain sweater, which if you are on knitting social media, you've definitely seen. This is what mine looks like so far. My needles, I use the Hiya Sharps and I love them, but the wire part is very messy, and so it's hard to show. But I did the first color work, and now I'm up to some more white stockinette, and I'm so happy with how it's coming out. I'm so excited. I think it looks so pretty, and I think this is the perfect color. One thing I didn't say about the mittens that I loved about the mittens was that this yarn is like ever so slightly variegated in a really beautiful way. I have all the balls in here still. So here's the gray, and it's definitely gray, but when you look at it closely, parts of it are very like reddy, pinky. I think you can tell with these two. Like one is much whiter, and one almost looks like a burnt, I don't know, it has like a reddy pinky, but then this strand almost looks like it's blue. I don't know, you probably can't tell. I think it's even more obvious actually with the green. I'm gonna make a mess if I try to take all this out. But this is the blue for the porcelain sweater. I also have diapers in this bag, so that's what my project bags look like. This is the blue, and I just think it's so beautiful. I think it reminds me of like a very jewel toned variegation, in that like when you have a beautiful gem and you look at it from different angles, there's like these slight different colors and things, and that's how this feels like when you really look at it. Every strand that passes over the ball looks like it has just like a uniqueness to it that I think is really exciting. And I usually hate balling up skeins of yarn because I make a mess, but none of these got tangled, which is a big deal for me. And it was just a pleasure to ball up because I was so excited, and it's just so beautiful. So this is how this is coming along. I'm really excited. Maybe I'll get it done by Christmas time or New Year's. I want to host a New Year's party this year. Maybe I'll wear it. That would be exciting. We'll see. But I'm really excited about that. I really feel like that has gotten my knitting mojo way up, which has been fun. Other works in progress. Here is one, and it doesn't really look like anything yet. I am making a hood for my sister for Christmas, and she already knows because my sisters and my mom are not really crafters, and so I kind of feel like when you make gifts for people who aren't super into crafting, sometimes I think they would just prefer like a store-bought gift. And they take so much time and a lot of love, and you want people, if you're going to make them things, to love it, and that's a lot of pressure on people, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure on people when they're receiving a gift. They're just supposed to enjoy it. So I've refrained from making gifts that I'm not confident people will love, but she said she really wanted it, which was exciting for me. So I'm making the Josie hood, and this is all I have so far because I don't have the right needles to continue. I try not to overbuy needles, and so sometimes I don't have what I need, and I think for this one I do have to buy the right needles. This is what I have, and this is the yarn, and it's an alpaca yarn. I have 3 skeins of it, which might be dramatic. I might only need 2. It's the Juniper Moon Farm 100% baby alpaca. I think it's from Peru. Yeah, made in Peru, which my yarn store has a ton of alpaca, and I really enjoy alpaca, and pretty much all of it seems to come from Peru. And yeah, I paid $20 per skein, and it's really, really soft, like so next to skin soft. Some people say alpaca is prickly. I love alpaca. I actually like it sometimes better than mohair, which I think might be a hot take. But yeah, this also balled up really easily, which is nice. I told you the brand, right? Juniper Moon Farm. It says Harriet. I think that's the base. And yeah, that's kind of it. It's a hood. It's like a sweatshirt hood, and then it's a scarf that ties in the front, and it has eye cords around the whole thing. I really liked the look of the eye cords. I thought it made it look really clean and nice, and so that is why I chose it. Because Petite Knit has a hood that I think is really popular, so if you don't like this one, you can try that one, but I think this one is a little bit prettier, and I like Petite Knit, but I think this one's the way to go. This is my mug that I've been using almost monogamously. It's pretty much the only mug I've been using, and I really like it. My friend saw it and bought it for me. I'm so lucky. I have so many people that are so thoughtful in my life. And Michael bought me a new teapot for my birthday. One of the Mackenzie Childs ones, if you know what I'm talking about. They're really, really beautiful, and they're hand painted. So I've been drinking a lot of tea. Let's keep going. I don't know if I have any other things on my needles. I am not really, some people knit a ton of things at once. That's not really me, but I will show you another project. Last year, there's a flower in it. Last year, I knit this little poncho, which now looks so silly and tiny because my daughter would never fit in this now. But I knit it in Drops Air, and it has little cables. And it was a free pattern from Drops, and it was kind of just for fun. I knit it when I was on like a road trip, I think, and I finished it super quickly, and I'm a slow knitter. But this knit up so fast. And it looked just so cute on her. And she has very blue eyes, and so I think the purple just like really made them pop. And in the winter and fall, the sun just like reflects off of things so differently, and it really makes her eyes like pop. And in this, it just was so pretty on her. And it was really soft because Drops Air is really soft. And I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed putting it on her, and I felt like it really kept her warm. And then for Christmas last year, my cousin gifted me this yarn, which is from a local dyer. Look how pretty that tag is with the stamp. Oh, that's so pretty. Every time I see things like this, I'm so inspired to like just create and like maybe share something. Like I've always wanted to do some kind of farmer's market or something, because I don't know, to be the person who creates something so beautiful, that's so cool. This is from Dove Hill Farm in Connecticut, and I live in New York, so it's pretty close by. And my cousin bought it at a farm stand. We do a Secret Santa in my family now that everyone's kind of grown up. The aunts and uncles don't have to buy for everyone. And so we all do a big Secret Santa. It's like $150, and you're supposed to get something pretty special. And this yarn was part of my gift, and it is pretty special. It's 100% pure Finn sheep wool, and it's a 2-ply bulky weight, and it's called Santa's Boots. It's 200 yards, and the woman at the market sheared the sheep, spun the yarn, dyed it, everything. And I wanted to do something really special with it, and I've been nervous to use it because I don't know what to use it for. I thought I'd make like a hat and mittens, but I don't know, that just wasn't calling to me like I wanted it to, and mostly I couldn't find a hat pattern. Also, I don't usually knit with such a bulky weight yarn. I usually use thinner yarns, and so that made finding a pattern I was really excited about a little bit harder. But then I was going through my knits a few days ago because I really was trying to look at what I had and what I could use for Christmas gifts, and I saw this and thought I really want to do something special with this. And so I thought maybe I'd make another poncho. I would love opinions on this, or if you have something else you would use this for. I think I'd have enough yarn to make a poncho, and I really enjoyed this. It's not as soft, but honestly it's pretty soft. And also, ponchos you wear over things, so that doesn't matter too much, because you would never wear this aside from like maybe around her neck. It would never really be next to skin. And even this pattern like doesn't have a very high neck, so I think that would be fine. And she's never been bothered by things because her little white and purple butterfly sweater isn't like the softest. It's a bit scratchy, and she likes it. So I think I might cast this onto a poncho. Let me know what you think. But by the time you let me know what you think, I might have already done it because I'm pretty excited to use this. Part of me thinks I should wait. We're going on a road trip at the end of this month, so part of me thinks maybe I should wait and this could be another road trip project, just like the last poncho, because that was a lot of fun. And we're going to Connecticut. This is from Connecticut. We're spending a week in my family friend's log cabin on a lake. I'm really excited. Michael took off the whole week, which he hasn't done in years, and it's going to be a bunch of us for the weekend, and then just Michael, Neve, and I for the week, which is going to be really fun and really special. and really relaxing, I think. I'm very excited. I've always said I would love to buy a log cabin one day, and Michael's really into it as well, so I don't know. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm very excited. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to show you before I move on, but I don't think that there is. I think that is the majority of what's been on my needles. I'm pretty excited. A lot of fun things. Very excited about my sweater. Yes. Okay, moving on. This is the tea I'm drinking. I just wanted to show you because last year I got it in my knitting swap from an amazing knitter on Ravelry who I really enjoyed having for the swap and swapping with. And it's from Cape Cod, which is where she's from. And I'm almost out of it, and I really, really enjoyed it. And my husband really loves it. It's a great morning tea because it's lemon, and it just, I feel like it gives me a little burst of energy, but it doesn't have caffeine because I don't really drink a lot of caffeine because I'm not a coffee girl. And so if I find a tea that I feel like kind of suits me being energized in the morning and doesn't have caffeine, definitely love that because a lot of my teas are more like nighttime snuggly teas. But this is a good morning tea, and I really like it. And it's biodegradable tea sachets, which is nice because people talk about all the plastics in the tea bags, which I don't love. And definitely recommend this. I might even order more when I'm done. And usually I don't do that because usually when I see teas somewhere, like if I'm away or if I see a little tea shop, I buy things. So I get like one-offs and then I'll probably never have it again. But this you can order online, so maybe I will. We'll see. And then I bought a little decoration at HomeGoods. I used to not be a big shopper, but having a baby and living somewhere where there's a fall, because we just moved back here from Florida, we're in New York now, it's really hard not to buy little things. And how cute is he? He's a squirrel with a little ball of yarn. How could I not buy him? He was like $4 because this is just like styrofoam. It's a pretty cheap little decoration, but I just think it was so cute. I think it was on clearance. Oh, he's got a little fuzz on his head. How cute. And I just have him up. I call it my windowsill. It's not a window. I have like a space between my living room and my kitchen that looks like a big window, and I just have him sitting on there, and he just makes me so happy. I have him sitting next to my flowers. This is probably one of my last bouquet of flowers of the year, and oh, my foot's falling asleep. And that is because they're all gonna die because it's almost winter, which is okay because I'm really excited for cozy season this year. This is probably one of my last bouquets that I can make from the little wildflowers in the garden. How pretty is that? This long, long green thing I thought was corn. My husband disagrees. We have a bird feeder and a ton of birds, and so often the birds will like pick up a seed from the bird feeder and then end up dropping it, and then we'll have things grow. So I think that's what happened here, but it's so long. I think it's corn. And these are from our hosta, and then everything else is kind of just wildflowers that grow in the grass. Let's see if we can get this back over here. The hosta flowers are really pretty, but they fall off pretty easily. So I try to avoid moving the bouquet around too much, otherwise I end up with just green stems and no little purple flowers. I did lose one, but that's okay. And then other things from the garden. I have tons of tomatoes coming in, which is crazy because it's October. And look how pretty these are. They are like the prettiest reddy, purpley, brownie. I think they were called like chocolate something. We moved into our house in the end of May. Here's another, how cute. And I have so many, and then I have some rosemary too, which I'm going to dry. It smells so good. I like rosemary because I feel like it grows a lot. And if I dry it, I can use it a lot in the fall and the winter. Like you put it in cocktails or in like things that cook in the Dutch oven all day. Those kind of meals, you know? And these I like to just snack on. Anyway, we planted stuff in May, and everything I planted was either free seeds from the library, because my library gives out free seeds, or things that I bought at a little store around the block that were pretty affordable because we just bought a house. And that were kind of just for fun because I didn't know how much time I'd be able to invest into the garden with a 1-year-old and with unpacking into a new house. And these little tomatoes were very affordable and really tiny, and now they're huge. They really, really did well in the yard. And they're delicious, and so it's fun because my daughter and I go back there and we just snack on them, which is what I wanted. I just wanted something fun for us to enjoy in the garden. However, I got even more exciting stuff than I expected because I planted a bunch of butternut squash seeds. Well, I just knew they were squash. I didn't know what kind of squash. I kind of expected summer squash, but I took free seeds from the garden and I planted them, and we had so much squash. Well, yeah, I think we had 5 squash, but the first 3 were really big, like really big, like way too much for one meal. Probably even like 2.5 meals. They were like this big and fat. These ones came later in the season. How sweet is that little squash? I feel like I might just keep it and put it out as a little decoration for now, and then later in the season cook it because they last a long time. How cute is that? And then this one might even be cuter. How sweet is this one? This is the funniest looking butternut squash I've ever seen. How cute is that? I'm just so excited because I thought that these wouldn't ripen because they came so much later. I thought that they wouldn't have time on the vine, but they're ripe and they're adorable, and I'm so excited because they're just too cute, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. How cute is this? I can't get over how cute it is. I'm so excited. And so yesterday we were in the garden doing a little fall cleanup, and I took them off the vines, and I think they're ready. I think they made it. And honestly, we still have time. Like, it's not even that cold this week. I'm kind of excited for it to be cold, so I'm not like thrilled about it not being cold, but for the sake of the garden, it's pretty fun. And Michael and I sat down the other night after Neve went to sleep, and we wrote in my notebook just a bunch of comments on the garden, and that was a lot of fun. Then I bought a new cookbook. And the reason I brought it to show you is because I used one of my homegrown squash to make a recipe in this cookbook that I was really excited about. I bought I Love You by Pamela Anderson. If you didn't know, Pamela Anderson, the woman from Baywatch, went on to become a mom, a very devoted mom, and she's kind of been the talk of social media recently because I don't know, something about aging. People are being silly. I think she looks incredible. And I love this cookbook, and I got it half off because, I don't know if you could tell, but it's ripped right here, the book sleeve, and so it was 50% off. And I was like, obviously I'm gonna buy that, especially because look how cute this cover is. With the little bees and the I love you. Like, why would you even want the sleeve? I do like the book sleeve, and the back has some carrots. So I'm keeping it on for now, but I don't even need it because the cover's so cute. With the bees, I love it. And I'm putting the book sleeve back on. So I bought this, and she eats, I think she refers to it as plant-based, but she eats vegan because there's no eggs in the book, and there's no like butter or milk or anything. I don't really know exactly what constitutes plant-based, but I thought it would be a good thing to use from the garden, and that I could just substitute. There's a little bird right outside my window. Birds fly into my window sometimes because it's just so clean, because I do such a good job cleaning it. Just kidding. But I thought this would be a fun one for my garden because she has a garden, and a lot of her recipes, they don't feel vegan or plant-based in like a substituting for artificial things way, which I don't love. They're just like things from the garden, which I do love because I am very open to plant-based meals. Sometimes I try to do like one a week, and I was vegan in college, so I've had that experience. I made these little harvest pot pies. She makes them in a muffin tin, but I have little heart-shaped tins that I used. I won't show you the recipe, but the pictures in this book are beautiful. And the back says the most important ingredient is love. It's so cute. And she has a really nice forward in the beginning about how she got into gardening and baking. And I'll make a blog post with some pictures of things that I referenced in today's video, and I'll link it below, and I'll include a picture of my little pies I made because I made them in little heart-shaped tins, and they came out so cute, and my husband loved them, and I get so excited when he loves a meal because he's much pickier than I am. But yeah, I really enjoyed this meal, and there's so much in here. There are dog treats, there are like homemade beauty recipes for like, I don't know, preserving, canning, and desserts and bread. There's a whole bread section. Maybe I'll try her focaccia this week. Oh, there's soft pretzels. This is one of my husband's favorite things that I homemade. Soft pretzels, he loves that. And so I'll try her recipe, and I'll see how it goes. Use maple syrup. That sounds yummy. I like a sweet, soft pretzel. So that's that. Definitely recommend this so far. I really like it. And even my husband loved the harvest pies, I think is what we were calling them. And I changed the recipe a little bit. I added mushrooms. I don't think she has mushrooms in hers, and I definitely recommend adding mushrooms. I always recommend adding mushrooms. And then, I think the last thing of my little show and tell. This is so much fun. My tea is getting pretty cold. I love watching YouTube videos about knitting. It just makes me feel so cozy. So if you're still here, thank you, because I'm enjoying sharing. I am currently reading Sophie's Choice, which I am really enjoying. It was one of Michael's favorite books, so I really wanted to read it. And I'm really enjoying it, but it's taking me a long time because I usually only read and knit right before bed. And if my daughter falls asleep in the car, I leave something in the car that I can do, so I can just sit in the driveway with her or in the parking lot or wherever she's sleeping, so I don't have to wake her up, because she's not a great napper, so I try to avoid waking her up. And this book is about the Holocaust, which isn't really a great book for like right before bed, cozy snuggling, or like I might only have a few minutes in the car before she wakes up, because I feel like it's obviously sad, and I feel like I get really into it, and I want to not be interrupted when I'm getting into this book. With that being said, I am really enjoying it, and I'm excited to read it and find out the ending, because Sophie's Choice is like a cultural reference, and the movie was really popular. And also, every time I mention that I'm reading it to people, they almost spoil it, so I'm excited to be done so no one has to spoil it for me. This is what I'm reading. I definitely recommend it, and I do like a book where you learn a bit about history, but it's also very much a story, and this is definitely that. I definitely recommend it. I just think it's a hard read if you have a little baby at home and you have limited time. Also, it's fall, so a lot of my like downtime has been more devoted to knitting than reading, which is at no fault to Sophie's Choice and is totally just my experience right now. There's so many birds outside. Sorry, I keep looking that way. And then my last thing is the book that is on my queue that I'm really excited about because it looks so cozy, is this one. And the reason I bought this is because when we were in the Hamptons over the summer, I went to a bookstore and they had the people that worked there's choice, if you know what I'm talking about, where like people write a little blurb about their favorite book at the moment and they put it up. And I love that. If a store has that, I pretty much always buy a book if I see one I'm excited about. Like, I don't know. There was a cute little blurb about this book and they really sold it. And then I went to Barnes & Noble, like a big bookstore, and they also had it there on display with a little blurb from someone recommending it. And so I'm so glad I bought it from the little bookstore. How cute is that? The picture, and it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a mystery. I really like a mystery. Yep. It's a cozy thriller, but I don't think it's too scary because I'm saying that because I hope it's not too scary. I don't know that. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I'm almost done with this, which I'm really enjoying, but it's taking me a long time. And then I'm going to cast on this one. I think that's it for this morning. I think that's all I have to share. But I really appreciate you being here and joining me. And like I said, I'll make a blog post and I will link it below, and I'll just put some pictures of things I talked about so that if you want to see them a little bit more, or you just want to stare at my squash, like I want to stare at my squash, you can do that. I'll put a picture of it. Obviously a him, right? Wouldn't you agree? But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed. I really appreciate you sharing your time with me. I know there are a lot of things you could be doing, and I'm glad that you were here with me. Bye.